In this video, I'll show you how you can make your game in Unity. So let's say you got an awesome idea for your very own video game, but don't know how to finally make it in the Unity game engine, or you do already know a bit about programming and game development, but you just want to take a look at a few popular game engines and make the decision for you which one to ultimately use. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So I suppose that you downloaded Unity from its website right here and successfully installed it. Then, the very first thing you're probably gonna see is this window called the Unity Hub that is used to create and open your existing Unity projects and install different versions of the actual engine. You can click onto Install Editor right here and then select the version you want to have. And yeah, right after you click to install, you'll be able to select all the modules, which are like additional packages for building that you want to have. So if you want to start a new project, you can do that by clicking on the New Project button and select whether you want to build a 3D game or a 2D game. So I'm going to select 3D now and change the name to Unity Beginners. And here you can also change the location your game's files are stored. And then we're good to go to click Create Project. Usually the first time that you open a project, it takes like several minutes, and from now on I think it shouldn't take more than 1 minute. And since you want to know how to finally make your game in Unity, what will be absolutely crucial for you is that you know what all of these like sub-windows and Unity's interface are being used for, and how to finally get into creating. So this scene window you got right here, you'll be able to see your game and edit it. So you can rotate your debug camera by holding down the right mouse button and moving it by pressing WASD. Then you got your so-called hierarchy right here that allows you to take a look at all the different objects that are in your scene at the moment. And as you can see, there are two game objects that you got by default. The first one being your camera right here, and the second one a light. This window at the right hand side shows up what is called the inspector, which allows you to inspect your selected game object and change some attributes. All these tabs you can see right here are called components, and these are what literally give your game objects their behavior. So you can add components right here, which we'll be taking a look at later, and you can also add your own components. This is your project explorer that just displays everything that is inside this assets folder, and from here you'll be dragging like your game's assets into your game. The only thing we got so far is the scene. Imagine these scenes like different levels, so everything you can see in this environment is stored inside this scene. You can enter these by double clicking, and you can also obviously switch between scenes during runtime. This console, on the other hand, will tell you once an error has occurred, and you can also use it for debug purposes. The game tab shows your scene as it will be like from your player's view. You can also change your aspect ratio like that. And maybe one warning: as soon as you click play, the engine will automatically switch to the game tab right by pausing it. You can also go back to the scene again to take a look at how your game looks like when playing. And there are also many more windows that you can use by going to Window and then selecting your corresponding category and which one you want to have. For example, this animation window will allow you to make keyframes, and this animator you can use to jerk your animations right here to craft transitions between them. And I think for building your own game it might also be important for you if I just show you how your final creation process might look like later on. So imagine that I want to make a 3D jump and run, and I can create a new game object. As you can see, it has some default components to it: the mesh filter and the mesh renderer and the box collider. So let's say I want to add gravity to it. Then I would be clicking onto add component and adding the rigid body component to it. Let's take a look at it. You can remove it by clicking right, remove component. But it gets even better. One thing that you have to know, even if you're not into programming yet, is how to add your own components. This you will later do by right clicking and then create and C# script. And this is what I wanted to show you. You can simply drag them all the way over here and attach them to your player as you would just do with any other component. You can open these by double clicking, and then if we try this out again, we can see that our cube is indeed moving to the right. One thing I wanted to show you is what I think is even more awesome is that you're able to make slight modifications to your script like you would do to these other components, and then you're able to modify the speed at any time, even at runtime. Your coworkers should be able to easily modify each of that stuff at any time. And as we could have imagined, our cube has become a bit older and slower. Now the last thing I think you'll need to know for today is how you can bring your game from the Unity editor onto your PC by making it an actual app. And this you can do by going to File, Build Settings. Then you can select between the different platforms. In Player Settings, you can also change some meta info of your application, its icon. And then you're good to go to press Build and Run, selecting your destination. And there you finally got your first game made in Unity, and all the stuff is working as it should be. Congrats for that. We always love to see new people going into game dev. Also, if you like this tutorial, there is a 13-minute extended version of it available for you on our Patreon, so go check that out if you want to take on a more serious approach on it. And another good news for you, the extended version will be available for each and every of our tiers, so you'll be able to get access to it no matter what. And stay tuned for the next tutorial, and I'll be catching you in the next video.